you tell me. All I see are green lights.
Hi, hello, and welcome back, everyone, to a very good and exciting episode of the Nincompoops podcast. I'm your host, Paul, along with my fellow co-hosts, Jim and Dean.
Hello, I
Hello,
didn't know we were
boys.
doing this.
The podcast?
Yeah, I thought we were taking a break.
I mean,
We're not doing it next week, probably. So
did we do an episode last week? I don't remember. We
we
did?
did.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we
it was our
did.
comeback.
Oh, yeah, but I came in late,
Our one
though.
of many
Yeah.
comeback episodes. Yeah.
Oh,
Lucky for
shit.
you guys, we're back again. Or maybe not lucky for you guys. I don't know. But next week we probably won't be doing this since we'll be eating grass next week. I hope.
Touching grass, maybe eating it. Or at least, in the very least, just hang out with, good friends.
Yeah. And the belt is here. So we'll be competing for that for the first time. We'll have our uh, our little tournament going on.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Can we have you showcase the belt for us, sir?
Oh, yep, for sure. Yeah, so you saw the drawing last week, but here's the real thing. It came in on Tuesday, so it's just
Ooh.
been sitting there the whole time. So we went the black and gold. There's the side plates of a dice of two dice, or yeah,
Two dice, yeah.
two die. I don't know. Here's the Mario mushroom. On the left side, we got a controller, and we got a Poggers logo.
Fucking bug. That face. You can see a reflection in your screen too.
It's
That's
very
wild.
shiny. Yeah, it's very shiny. There's you guys right there,
Yeah.
Oh, hello,
Uh,
me.
and here's the. I mean, it's mirrored. I think is it mirrored on your guys' end? No, it's not. Okay.
No, I don't think so.
It says the Nincompoops World Sigma Gamer Champion with the Nincompoops logo.
It's a little bit harder to read, but yeah,
Look,
yeah, I can see it.
looks really nice. It does smudge a little easy if you touch the gold, but it's nothing a little wiping off can't fix.
Time to do some wiping. We had some practice with that back in high school.
Yeah, that's not too bad. You can just wipe it off with like a microfiber cloth, no polish needed or anything.
That's dope. That
yeah.
works.
Mm-hmm.
Now
This is our belt.
nice. Now this belt is does it come in any specific sizes, or just one size and that's it?
It's just the one. There's different types of belts you can customize, but
There's many ones, but they're many.
This is the design, the base design I went with. There's a more square belt, which I didn't think looked as nice. I think this one looks a lot better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Looks bigger
I agree.
and more championy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Looks good on my shoulder, as I imagine will happen on this next Friday when I win. But yeah,
Shit.
it should be a good time. Looks really nice, and whoever wins gets to take it home. So if Paul wins, we might see it in the next podcast in the background or something.
Oh, I would have to hang it up somewhere, just maybe somewhere along my wall. I don't know where I would put it. Maybe just place on my fan. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope you don't win. Okay. So so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, sure, yeah. It'd be a huge pain in the ass for me, for sure. Yeah.
I'll end that way. It's not in the house.
I mean, I don't even think you have to worry about it for you, Dean, just because you always got some kind of background going on.
I know, but
Maybe you'll just have to wear it during the podcast.
Yeah.
Just have right over your shoulder.
yeah.
Winner will have bragging rights, so you can wear it on the podcast. You just become a douche for showing it off, and I will be that douche.
Hey, that's why we're friends, because we'd all do it. We'd all be douchebags to each other.
Yeah, but yeah,
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to it. Having the belt is a nice little touch, I think. At least for
Mhm.
me, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted the belt when I was into wrestling too. When I was a kid, I always wanted one of the belts, but obviously, they only had the kid versions at the Toys R Us or wherever.
Yeah.
But the real thing, yeah, it's nice. I imagine that one of the WWE belts are probably heavier than that one because that one to me felt pretty light. So
Oh, really?
yeah, because that's a really basic belt. The WWE ones they put extra shit on it. I think I don't think they use the title anymore, but the one back when I was a kid, that one had fucking a bunch of fucking shit on it, so it's probably heavier.
How much does this one weigh?
I don't know the weight, but it's pretty light.
Pretty light?
when you-
Okay.
It's
if you
a
wear
sheet
it,
of metal.
Yeah, if you wear it on your waist, you won't. It doesn't feel like it's much on you. It's like maybe like feels like it's like a pound or two on your shoulder.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like it's very heavy. So yeah.
Okay, that's fucking dope. I'm not yawning because I'm bored. I'm yawning because like I did not get much sleep today. Just because I got off of work at it was regular time last night. Got home around 1 o'clock. Went to bed around 1:30. Woke up, went to PT, and then normally after PT I would shower, eat, and go back to sleep. But this time I had something special today. My younger sister graduated from SKSU today.
Nice.
So, mm-hmm.
Nice.
Proud older brother here and alumni. So pretty
I'm
dope.
also an alumni.
Mm-hmm.
What a
Mm-hmm.
coincidence.
What a coincidence, indeed. But yeah, I think like pretty much every kid in my family now is like graduated from college now. So
Yeah,
been
for me, my brother's graduating out of high school, so he's going to college soon. So siblings are growing up.
I know.
yep,
Getting
indeed.
old.
Time flies. It's a weird feeling.
I got to think about my retirement home. I got.
I'm still worried about getting my first home in the first place. Or at least like a place to live. Anything like slightly above like a cardboard box, I'll be happy.
Plastic boxes.
Exactly. Exactly. It's see through, or it doesn't get as wet as easily, or
It's waterproof.
waterproof. There we go.
I,
That's the
I
word.
I hope my cardboard box gets bejeweled. That way, I'll be the bougiest homeless guy on the block.
Dude, I think of like homeless people. I'm like, fuck, this weather is like this past week has been like killer. And every time like I go to work, I'm like, man, it's really hot. And then I also
Yeah,
see like homeless people sometimes on the way to work or like on the way back. I'm like, man, that's
Yeah,
at night it's not so bad because it's a lot cooler. But during the day, I'm like, fuck, how do you guys do it?
they're
Just
just used to
like
it.
they have to be used to it. But I'm just like, man, that fucking sucks. Just like I just see like sometimes they're not under shade or anything. They're just like sitting out in the middle of the street or like on the sidewalk. I mean,
hmm.
and it's so fucking warm. I'm like, at that
Oh
point, I'm like,
yeah.
no, just fucking kill me at that point.
My first job was terrible. In the summer because my first job, as some of you may not know, I worked at a grocery store where I would like bag and then push carts, like move the carts back to the front. It wasn't like Costco where they had like cart sections near the parking lot.
Mhm.
Like you have to move the carts to the front where there's like a
Yeah,
block for the carts. And
yeah,
I always hated the summer working there because when it's like 90 something degrees inside. Part of my job was to go outside and get the carts and then move them all the way up to the front. And it was easy by itself, but when it's fucking hot all the time, you're just sweating all the time, and you have to go back in just to get some water just to stay cool. Or sometimes what I would do was I would not. I'd be like, fuck this shit for a little bit and just
yeah.
chill in the freezer while I was cooling down. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was just and obviously I didn't get paid much. It was minimum wage, so it was just like yeah, I hated that part of the year every single time. It sucks when it rains too, but in terms of like on the effect on you, like the heat was worse for that.
Yeah, I am definitely more of a winter person compared to a summer person. I mean, like the summer's nice, is like pretty, but then days they're so hot.
Yeah, the
It
Yeah,
days.
just like destroys any motivation to do anything.
I'm
yeah, it's
liking it
not.
here. It's windy and nice and cool.
Oh right, yeah, where you live, it's like always like pretty cool. So now this time of year it must be like pretty nice then, I reckon.
It'll be like 90, but the cold winds are carrying it. Like, oh, okay, it's like it's a
Are you
hot
still
day.
are you able to like walk outside like in t-shirt and shorts and just like be fine where you're at?
Yeah, but I usually wear like a thin sweater because of the wind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Some kind of windbreaker then.
yeah,
Yeah.
because the wind gets annoying. It's just like
I
Yeah,
reckon I reckon it does get annoying, but I'm like at the same time it feels so nice
I
at the
know.
same time. I'm like I like the wind. As long as it's not blowing me on my ass, I'm like I'm fine, I'm good. It's just something about it. It makes me want to like bring out a kite or something, just like be a little kid
Dude,
again.
over here, it's like, damn, I wish I have a kite. Like, Oh man, every time I walk cloud, it's just like, damn, I wish I have a kite, kids.
Did you did you ever like buy a kite or just like your parents said no, so you just forced yourself to like make a kite instead of like paper and it almost always failed? Did you ever
Uh,
do that?
no. We used to like use like sticks, like bamboo sticks,
Yeah.
and then
Uh,
tie it
someone
off to a
says.
cross.
Sorry to interrupt. Someone says that your voice is lower than ours, Dean.
Yeah, I put the gain down a little bit.
Ah, man, it's playing a game while we're doing a podcast.
No,
Like this is
gain,
boring.
gain.
Oh, game.
Yeah,
Oh,
mic
Yeah,
gain.
like microphone gain.
Yeah,
not bad.
yeah. So yeah, we
There.
used to make it with two sticks, one long and the other one's like kind of short. Turn it into cross and then tie up cut up a plastic bag into like a diamond shape thing
Ah,
and
nice.
yeah, we used to do those.
That's dope. Mine was just like made out of paper. I did not put much thought into it. I'm just like, okay, paper, string, perfect. That's all I need, and
Go.
it almost never worked. I was not the most handy when it came to like arts and crafts as a child or even as an adult. So I guess it carries.
Me either.
Hmm.
I'm okay with drawing, but when it comes to, like, I took both classes. I took art in high school, like, just like drawing or whatever else, and I also took a
Yeah.
crafts class, and I was better at the arts class because at least like I can draw fine, but when it comes to crafting, I'm just like a dumb kid. I'm just like I'll like be working with clay, and then look, comparing myself to some of the other people in my class, they would make some cool shit where it comes out nice. There's no like random bumps or holes everywhere. For me, I always fucking like there's always like lumps everywhere when I made shit, and then
I'm
and
just clumsy when it comes to
yeah.
like crafts. Like I'd be doing something and then I'll fuck it up somehow.
Yeah, and like origami, like you know how in elementary that you there was like one time you would do origami. I was terrible with that. I was just like I'd be folding, and then at some point I get lost, and then I just fuck it up even more, and then the end product is like like it's not even a swan. It's like a dumb pigeon that broke like both its wings.
I
Like
just know the shirk and star ones.
Oh yeah, didn't you like tell me
I
a
couldn't I
story, Jim,
couldn't
about when you were like in school when you're like trying to follow directions and you just like fell behind after everyone else, just like doing like folding.
paracord bracelets.
Oh, there we go.
I couldn't even do that. Yeah,
Me
I
either,
just
Chad.
remember it was my educational psychology class where the project was you're supposed to teach something to the class, and everyone chose their own thing, and then one person chose like, hey, I'm gonna teach you how to make paracord bracelets, and and if you don't know what a paracord bracelet is, it's like you just get three strings that like not like thin strings, they're like pretty thick ones, and you pretty much um wrap it around itself. It's kind of like a friendship bracelet, if you know what that is, but it's like thicker, and then it goes around your wrist because it's a bracelet.
Our friendship is thicker than yours.
um and and I got lost
Like
like almost immediately. Like it
two
was like
C's.
step one, get your three strings, lay them out next to each other. I was like, got it. Step two, wrap string one around string two, and I'm like, okay. Step three, now wrap the third string around the first two strings, and I'm like, okay. Can we back it up a little bit? And then and then the guys on like step eight. I'm just like, Carl, can we go back to step three? Like I'm trying to work that out real quick. So how do I wrap it around? And then the girl in front of me is like, hey, you need help? I'm like, no, no, no. Sure. Can you show me like this step? And she's already like caught up, and she's like, oh, you're back there. Hold on, let me try
Oh
to.
no, you're
And the
back.
guy's like step nine. I'm like,
Slow
well,
down.
I guess this is it. And I brought mine home. I brought mine home like 5% complete. And yeah, I probably threw it away because I'm not gonna learn how to do it. It's an impossible task.
This is literally the epitome of that meme. Like instructions too complicated, got dick stuck in ceiling fan.
And all you do is just like wrap the things around together to fucking make a strong like uh bond or
Thread.
whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I couldn't do it. I I looked dumb. The girl in front of me was cute too, and I looked like a dumbass. So you win
Yeah,
some, you
you
lose
lost
some, you
that
know.
day.
I like looked over like this kid's kind of special, and not the good kind.
So yeah, I impressed her with my handy uh crafting skills. And as a kid, I never learned how to make a paper airplane. I just couldn't like wrap my head around it.
Really?
Everyone else built fucking paper airplanes. I went like whoosh. My paper airplanes went like you know.
I guess like even if you like successfully made a paper airplane.
No, no, I've never successfully made one. I'm just like
Really?
I'm trying to copy what you're doing, and then this looks kind of the same, and then I toss it, it just goes like this. Well,
I haven't made paper airplanes in years.
Yeah, me too.
But I do remember at some point, I think the way I made mine was like at some point, especially near the beginning, you kind of like folded the paper in half to where it kind of looks like an envelope a little bit, and then you bada beam, bada boom, and then you just keep folding, and it makes a paper airplane. I haven't done it in years, so I don't know if the muscle memory is still there, but I wonder if I could do it. Make
yeah,
paper airplane.
damn, yeah. I don't think anyone's made paper airplanes in years because we're all like, I don't know. Maybe I guess maybe some do if you're bored at work or something. But
Oh, I've definitely seen it in my workplace. It's just like it's people just making paper airplanes. I don't know who it is, but there's one guy. I don't know who it is, but we find it's like one paper airplane that's just on the table. We just pick it up, we just throw it, and just like flies like in the straightest line across the room. And we're like, holy shit, this is amazing.
It's one of the Filipino ones.
Probably, probably. I've learned like one phrase now, or yeah, like one phrase. Like often here in like there, just because like the Filipino mafia we call it. It's like I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, Dean. Because it's only the Filipinos that speak Tagalog or like Filipino would know. It's like I hear on like a daily basis like the phrase like "putang mina," and that's all I hear.
Hey,
And I'm like, that's all I hear. I'm like, what does that mean?
it's a bad word, Paul.
Clearly,
is that the
clearly.
Duma of Tagalog?
What was that?
Is that the Duma of Tagalog or something?
Oh my.
Yeah, I think so. Or it's pretty much F your mom.
Ah.
Oh,
I
okay.
I
Yeah,
hear
it is the Duma. Yeah.
I hear puton and it's like that sounds like puta puto or like puton. It's just like okay, it's probably
What?
something to do with like genitals. I think.
No, it's F your mom.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I hear that on the regular. I'm like, all right, I'm learning curse words, and it just happens naturally. I'm not even like trying to learn Filipino right now. I'm just picking it up.
Yeah, you just pick up shit and then you're like, alright, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just the curse words, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I only know how to curse in one language. I don't really know cursing in Vietnamese. I know a few words, but they don't have the same impact like a lot of the English words have though. I don't know.
Some of them though.
Maybe it's like a cultural thing. Like maybe if in Vietnam, if I were to say "do man," it'd probably be more offensive. But here, I feel like "fuck your mother" just doesn't have the same ring to it as some of the other insults I have. You know?
I think I think in the more Latin based like languages, I think particularly in Spanish, I hear cursing is a lot more fun or like more impactful. You know, I forgot what the word was, but I think the way one Spanish word or insult was like translated, just like pretty much something with your mother and a cow. Either like your mom's a cow or your mom is got fucked by a cow or something
Like
like that.
"pinche pendejo" away or "pinche puto" away or something like that.
I have no idea. I have
I've
no idea what the words were, but
You know,
something like
I've
that.
heard those words be used all my life because I grew up around. I've had a lot of Mexican friends growing up, and I never learned what they meant. I just know they were bad words.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, "pinche puto" way or "pinche pendejo" way are usually the two the two I've always heard, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I never really learned what they meant.
I find myself like swearing in like different languages now, or I've been doing it for a couple years compared to like just saying like regular stuff in English because I find like or at least in American English, it gets kind of boring. It's like you just like say the same stuff over and over. So I'm like, I need to like expand my vocabulary, and either I go with like the more creative like British English insults or the Australian insults, or I just like I pick a different language, or I like go with like I don't know. I did like Japanese for a little bit where I say like kuso, or German where I say like scheisse, and now right now I'm just like it's just French where I just say like merde, putain, and all that. It's just more fun for me.
I don't know. I'm good with English, man. Has so many, like, you can be creative with it, man. Like
Like,
fuck, fuck,
yeah,
shit, and bitch are super flexible. You can use them in any way.
nothing can
You
ever
can, you
beat
can, you
fun.
can,
Its
you can
versatility.
The fuck can be the beginning of the insult. It could be at the end of the insult. It could be in the middle. You can use it as a verb, adjective, and a noun. Like, it's
Yeah.
so you can do so much with fuck and shit. Shit is not as insulting, but you can use that in a lot of ways too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. English is like, hey, we're hooking you up, bro. You want to insult someone? You want to curse? Hey, here you
Just
say
fire
it.
away.
Say it in any order, in any way, with any tone.
It'll
There you
make
go.
sense.
Yeah, it'll make sense somehow.
You know what is so weird for me? I remember a couple months ago at work, like that age-old joke when someone like says a swear, and then someone does the joke where they say, "Hey, stop fucking swearing," and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my supervisor said that as a joke, of course, and I just remember I just looked at him and it just did not register in my head. And he's like, "You didn't get the joke, right?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I said no fucking swearing. When I said fuck, I'm like, oh shit! I forgot fuck was a swear word. I'm so used to just hearing like
That's
fuck
your
it. Like,
moment of, oh, this guy's a little specialist.
I just totally forgot. I'm like, oh, I hear like fuck on such a regular basis, like in almost anything.
Yeah. You
That I'm just
say
like
fucking
it just
bud.
doesn't. Yeah, it just
No,
doesn't even
Bitch.
register
Fuck.
as like a swear now. It's just like it's just part of like my regular vocabulary.
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah.
You do be like that.
Like I swear regularly with like my supervisors and bosses and coworkers at work, and I swear regularly with you guys, and I swear regularly. I use the F bomb when talking to other candidates. So I'm just like, there's like no almost no place where I wouldn't use it except for like maybe uh around strangers or people I don't know. But even then,
Yeah.
I probably still use it anyways if I'm
Yeah.
like having a conversation with them.
When I was like younger, I think freshman year or no, sophomore year was when I started cursing more, but when I was younger, everyone discovered swear words, so they're just like, yeah, fuck, shit, like any chance they could, right? And so I was just like, I'm not gonna be primitive like you guys. I'm gonna be a sophisticated person for my age. I'm gonna refrain from saying the F word or the S word. I'll just replace it with like freak or
That's
fudge.
what I did.
Fudge.
That's what I did back in high school.
That's
I
what I
took
did.
pride in not swearing.
Yeah, and I think I had a point in the sense that I think everyone who cursed when they're like 13, they're doing it because, oh, I get to say this when even though I shouldn't. It was like a
Yeah.
sense of like I'm more cool than you think I am. So I think I had a point in that, but yeah, it was kind of dumb of like making a point of not swearing too. Even though like it's just so casual. Like when you're older, not that I'm older, I get like people just say it like without really thinking.
It
As
just
long as
doesn't even
they
register.
don't do it excessively, you don't really notice when they do it. Like if they're saying, this fucking thing where I fucking did this and this shit, fucking shit, fuck, that's when I'm like, all right,
All right,
you need a
hold
better
it, tone it
vocabulary.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You need to like come up with other words, or else I'm gonna think you're dumb if you can't come up with other words besides just swear words. But people are saying it more casually, or it's more okay with me now because it's like, yeah, it's whatever as long as you're not forcing it. I think I dislike people forcing out curse words when they didn't need really
Yeah. Yeah.
when need to, and it seemed like they're just doing it to be cool.
Usually, I notice that most when it comes to, like when I'm watching like politics. I remember just like some politicians would just say like they'll like drop the F bomb or like something like that, or like say shit, and I'm like everyone's like, whoa, he said a swear, and
It's
I
like
was
when
like,
you're a kid and you see your teacher say like hell or crap or something. You're like teachers are they say swear words too,
oh,
like
I remember those times when one of
yeah.
our substitute teachers said crap, and everyone like, I was like in like fifth or sixth grade or something like that. We're like, oh,
Yeah,
said a
and as a
swear.
kid, you're like, they're saying crap. Oh my, this is unheard of. Even though like in the regular lives, they probably say like way stronger words all the time, but when they say crap, you're like, what the? This is different.
Bacana.
They're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to do that. How can you do that?
I know, exactly. That's like part of like, just like, oh, he said to swear. That means we should be allowed to say it too.
Yeah, and then in high school, the teachers still like even though they might say crap or something, they still have that level of professionalism where they're like, I'm a professional teacher. I'm gonna make sure this classroom stays professional. No one's gonna swear, and you're like, okay, that's cool. And then you go to college, and then your professor is just like, hey, what's up, guys? Fuck the
fuck
Greeks. Hey, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like. And you just hear it's just like so different from high school,
Fuck you,
'cause
fuck you,
Yeah.
fuck you.
yeah,
You're cool.
I remember that in like my first quarter at a community college where my communications or like speech teacher was like swearing and just like a regular thing. And I just remember seeing that class like this this is what people do in college?
yeah,
This is awesome! Hell yeah!
Even,
yeah.
Even when in high school when one of my teachers, I don't think she's there anymore, but she flipped off a student because the student was flipping
Really?
her off first. And it's like, how you like that? How you like that? I was dying laughing, dude. I was like,
That's awesome.
yeah, I was like, oh shit, this is how the real world works.
Yeah, when you're younger, you expect like, oh, high school, you're grown up, you don't do those things. And
People
then
are
in
like more
college-
professional.
Yeah, in college, it's just a more professional version of high school because high school's preparing you for college. So if you're being professional for high school,
Of course,
it just means
yeah.
that high school, naturally is also a very professional setting. And then the teacher is just like, hey man, just call me Bob. Like you don't need to call me by my last name, okay? And like, and then they'll just like drop like swear words all the time, and they just do it casually when they're teaching, and it's one of the things I liked more about college, where you feel like it felt like at least for some professors, not all professors are like that.
Yeah, I was about to say, not all
Um,
professors. Some do it the
but
first name, some prefer you still call him professor. It's
yeah,
like, that's still
but
that
the ones
barrier.
that are more like relaxed about it, like those are
Yeah.
the classes I enjoy more because they're not faking who they are. They're just being who they are while also conveying the information in a way that comes naturally to them, and usually that means I myself retain more of what they orate because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it just felt more natural, which is one of the things I like more about. I like college more about high school, just
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes you
just
more relaxed as well. It's like it makes you more comfortable. Like, oh, okay, like
yeah, like my history professor at my community college, like I would not have enjoyed his class as much if he cleaned it up, like because he taught in a way that was natural to him, but it was also effective. Like I got more out of that class than I would have if he were to be like all buttoned up and like, all right, this is history, and I'm going to teach you about the Greeks. The Greeks did, like yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Rico the
yeah,
Spaghetti God. We only follow Rico the Spaghetti God.
It's like always like the more crazy or like, out of bounds teachers are like the most memorable or the most enjoyable to have.
Yeah.
As
yeah,
opposed to like the ones that, as you said, the ones that are most buttoned up. Because I have had like, I don't know how many teachers throughout my lifetime. There's like a very, very small handful that whose names I still remember. Or what they
Voldemort.
even look like. Yeah. But yeah, there's like a handful just because like they're like so special and so great at their job, even if they're like slightly off base or like just like slightly uh off tilt. It was always like a great enjoyable time.
yeah. You won't always remember everything they taught, but there's always like a few stories, whether it's related to
That stays with you.
yeah, whether that's related to the course or not, that stays with you. Like yeah, like I will always remember like uh one of my professor's stories about punk in my history class, and that story is always going to stick with me. And the spaghetti god thing, regarding like how the Romans couldn't think up their own gods. That shit will stick with me probably forever, because of the way they told those stories. It
There's
wasn't
only
bunned up. It
one
was just
God, and it's Rico.
yeah. And the Rico thing, again, was about how the Romans like kind of stole the Greek gods because they weren't creative to make their own. And yeah, that's gonna stick with me, even if I'm gonna forget most of what happened, most of the material taught in that course.
Yep.
Just whereas the button up shit, like yeah, I'll remember like what I felt going through your class, but I won't remember like these special little moments that that happens because they don't happen as much.
Mm-hmm. Another story I remember from the exact same teacher that we're all talking about is when he was like talking about the spice trade back in like I don't know when, like 1500s or something like that, where people would just like sail across the globe like looking for spices. He described it in a way that made like so much sense to me, and also just like critiqued the way like people just like took notes or like just studied history in general. He's like, okay, in like 1694, the British went on their expedition to India for spices, and he was like, okay, students would just like write that down. Oh, okay, the spice trade, 1964, and all that. And he's like, no, don't write that down, okay? Think about it for a second. You're fucking risking your life over spices. You're selling months on end, risking
Hearing those
scurvy
voices.
and
I remember this stuff.
drowning for spices. Would you do that? I wouldn't do that. That sucks. And I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Why the fuck would people do that for like fucking salt and spices? Just like, oh, my food tastes like slightly better, you know? And the
Yeah.
way he just described that, like, that sticks with me, like, all these years later.
Yeah. By the way, for those who didn't go to the school we went to, this guy was like, he's a person I would. He's not full time anymore, unfortunately. So more people won't see how great his class was, but he was one of the best professors I ever had because he conveyed information in such a unique way that everyone who took his class got something out of it.
Uh huh.
I remember the first class I took was early history, starting with like the Greeks, and one of the things that the first thing he said in class was when someone had their phone out on their desk, he's like, "Hey, you're looking at animal porn through that? Is that some sheep? Is that here a bah?" And that shit is gonna stick with me. Like I'm always gonna remember that. Like
And
because
he's always like, yo,
it's
can
so
I watch?
different.
Can I watch? Can I join? It's like calling people out. Or it's like, hey, you got some drugs? You want to share?
Yeah.
You sell it? I'll buy.
Just nod and smile. Just nod and smile.
Yeah, and not to like, it sounds like we're overplaying how good he is, but legit, I think he made all of us, maybe not Paul because he's already on that track, but he made all of us like at least consider becoming a history major because he's the reason why I took like as many history classes at the school as I did because
Yeah.
I'm not a history major, I'm a psychology major, but he made me think, damn, I could switch because damn, history is actually interesting if you teach it in a way that's not monotone and boring,
You're like going over like dates and just like, oh, this is happened
Yeah.
and it happened in 1974 or something like that.
One of my favorite things about him is like, hey, he's like, hey, the dates don't really fucking matter. Who gives a fuck when this event was? It's about what actually happened there, what it meant, at the time. Like that's one of the things I liked about him and his view on it. Because a lot of history nerds, maybe not most, but a portion of them is like, if you don't know what year this was, then what the fuck you doing? It's like, well, okay, like. Like I hate a history test in high school where it's like, what year was this event? I'm like, is that really important in the grand scheme of things?
Well, I don't know if like history nerds did that or it was mostly just like, the try hard kids who are like always tried to like get that A. And they did that for like any class. I think it's just like the problem stemmed from like, the way the curriculum was taught or like how teachers taught it. Just like, okay,
Yeah.
just going by the dates and all that. Other than that, like the only people like gave a hardcore shit about when things happened was just the kids like try hard and get an A in the class and all that.
Yeah, it's like, well, like yeah, it's nice to know the year, but that's not the point of why you're learning like the subject in the first place. It's like it's like taking math and then you're just like, oh yeah, what's a matrix? And you're just like, I don't know. Like, it's like, is that really like
A pretty neat movie that came out starring Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, the point is to teach you how to do it, not like what the fucking term is for this one specific math thing, Yeah, that's one. And he's had a role in my educational career. Like I thought about being a history major at one point too, because of him. Like I put history as like a backup in case I didn't get it from my psychology major. Dean is switched over to history because he
was the
took three
backup.
classes. He was the backup. He took 3 classes with the same guy, and then Ron, who was on the podcast like a couple times,
A handful of times. You may have heard the guy.
you may have heard of him.
Yeah.
He switched over to history from like nursing. Like, it wasn't the direct switch. It was like something in between, but still. Like,
Kinesiology.
He ended up taking like 4 classes with the same teacher as we all took. He's the one teacher had an impact on all of us, and it's because he wasn't like your standard, professional button down guy.
Yeah, I think I was the first person to take his class, and that's when just as I switched over to becoming a history major. I think around that
To be
time.
fair, you had a head start on all of us due to the
I
fact
did.
that
I did have a head start. That's why I had him
That's
first.
not
yeah,
fair.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what
you're
happens.
older than me, and you also didn't join the military like the other guys. Okay, you had an advantage.
I'm not bragging. I'm just saying what happens. It's
I know.
just what happens.
I don't know
And
what.
yeah, uh, and if this were to be like mistaken as bragging, you might be forgiven. Just like I don't even know how we ended up all taking his class at some point because there's a bunch of other history teachers at our community college that we went to.
It was
I
just
wasn't sure like
I just
was
got
it
it
just
from
coincidence or was it like
no, it was I definitely got mine
recommendations from one of
from
us?
Jim and Ron.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I needed a class for humanities because at our community college there was a section called art and humanities, and history for some reason fit under humanities, even though it normally falls under social science. So I
Mm-hmm.
took it for that thing, and I was just trying to see like, I was just trying to see all classes I could take for humanities because I didn't care about most of them. Like I think one of them was like Native American literature or some shit, and I was just like, no offense to Native Americans, but I couldn't give less of a fuck about taking
I
that
mean,
class.
it's called literature. I think any nation or culture was just like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
we're just into literature.
I
It wouldn't be fun.
it's I think I may have made this known in the podcast before, but I don't read. I don't like to read. I
He's
especially
a
don't.
monkey brain. He
I
is.
don't like being forced to read, like, especially because
Me
all
too.
these books I've ever read in high school or in middle school, I hated most of them except for like maybe a handful. I actually like had a good time reading, but
Which is ironic because this man always talking about like Marxist literature. I'm like, hey, did you read this?
no, I'd never do that.
Ironically or unironically, but he brings up the literature a lot, quite a bit whenever we talk about
Well,
politics.
I bring up like the message that the literature gives, which I got condensed down from like YouTube videos.
Yeah,
But when it comes to like
actually reading it itself, yeah,
assigned books, fuck, I hate that shit. Like if I'm genuinely interested in something, I'll read it. If I have time, like if I come across a book, I'll read it if I am interested in it. But being told like, hey, you're gonna read The Grapes of Wrath, it makes me wanna rage quit because I hated
yeah,
that book. I hated most books that were assigned to me. But uh, but yeah, so when it came to like anything literature or English classes that are like, hey, you're gonna write a paper on this book, I'm just like, no, fuck off.
mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that's why I didn't want to take that. So when I saw history fell under that, I was just like, hey, who's teaching what classes? And so I took the I saw Klein's thing on Rate My Professor. It was a highly rated, so I took his class,
Yeah,
and
I remember that. Yeah,
I took the class in the summer, so I ended up really enjoying the class. And
didn't you, Ron, also took that class at the same time, or
no,
no?
I took a class with him before I took one with Ron.
Okay.
I took the one with Ron. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
winter quarter, so two quarters after it's the summer one I took with him, and I decided to take another class with him just because it was, I needed something to fill up my what's the word? I don't know, my
Gap.
course catalog
Your
thing.
requirements or
I
credits.
needed
Oh yeah.
credits because I had leftover credits I could take where I could take any class I wanted since I was getting all my major classes done already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or was close to being done with them. So I just decided, like, hey, I'll just take class with that guy I really enjoyed taking class with because he taught like 4 different classes every quarter. I ended up taking 3 out of the 4. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I would have
Gotcha.
taken the fourth if I had nothing else to do. But yeah,
Yeah. Man, we went over that subject a lot longer than I thought. We were just literally just spent like probably like a good 10 minutes just talking about this one professor we had.
Yeah.
yeah. Then I think Ron took it the fall after the summer, and then I guess I forgot what his reasoning was, but I guess maybe it was for credits or something. But
I
he
could
ended
have
up
sworn,
taking.
I could have sworn I vaguely remember him asking me if about this one professor and what I thought if I took him and what did I think of him. I was like, take him, he's great and all that. I think I
Yeah,
remember that if I'm not making that up.
yeah. So he took the same class I took the quarter after, and then the quarter after that, he was going to take a second class, and I ended up taking class with him because why not? I ended up I needed the carpool over to college because I lived kind of far away, and I usually
Hmm.
got to the school by bus, so it took longer by bus. And and yeah, what's funny was that I took a different class with the same professor before I was going to take that class with Ron. I took the B class, whereas Ron signed up for the C class. So I actually got another friend from high school into the class where I was going to take one of my friends from high school.
Mhm.
I ended up like dropping the B class to take the C class because was Ron was in it. But basically, I chose Ron over the other friend I had,
Wow.
and yeah, I left him behind. He was just he enjoyed the class, but yeah, he thought I was gonna be in that class with him, and
Well, to
I
be
left him.
fair, you got Ron took you through.
Yeah,
You guys would have had a different time frame. Ron would have waited for you a little bit, but then now you taking the same class. It's like okay,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
and to be fair, I think it all worked out in the end because I don't really talk to that guy anymore. Not because I ditched him, but because we weren't like especially close or anything. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, we weren't like close friends. If we were close friends, then yeah, I've been kind of fucked to ditch him for a friend that I don't really know as well.
I
But
mean, to be fair, we also don't talk to Ron as much either, despite the
yeah,
fact
well,
that
at
we
the time,
go to thing.
Ron was a like a central part of our group back then. I know you guys in the audience are like that guy who was shoved for like 5 episodes for the podcast. Uh, but he was a central figure of our group at the time. Okay,
The time.
it led me is what led me to hang out with you guys more too because
Mhm.
before I would hang out with Paul like every now and then with Kenny who was also on the podcast for a while.
Mhm.
And yeah, as well it led to me hang out with you guys overall, and that led to like Japan and a bunch of stuff, you know. So I think I made the right decision to ditch the other guy. Sorry, other guy.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. I mean, if that were the case, I think this podcast probably wouldn't even exist. To be honest,
Probably not.
yeah.
The word
that's a
podcast
wild thought.
would have
Chain
never
reaction,
ever crossed my
butterfly
mind.
effect.
Yeah, yeah. If like someone went back in time, it's like, hey Jim, don't ditch him. This guy is gonna be your friend. I
This guy's
promise.
the billionaire. Don't do it.
Yeah.
or who knows? Maybe you would have made a podcast with him instead. It
Uh,
would have been called like uh, the pee pee poo poo podcast. I don't know,
The
something like that.
yeah, the Shenanigans podcast.
shenanigans.
There you go. There you go. It would have been
Uh,
something like that. Some kind of like alternate dimension right there.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Damn, that sounds like I don't know. Like the butterfly effect. Anything could have happened to me. I could have been like a whole different person from who I am today. You know.
You think maybe Bernie won in that dimension?
You know what? Maybe. Maybe he didn't win. Maybe Hillary Clinton won.
Oh,
Or worse. Uh.
John Delaney.
Yeah. John Delaney won. John Delaney is a neoliberal powerhouse in that timeline.
Dude, he's like he won
He's in his
and
like
he's still buff too.
he's gonna be campaigning for his third term in that timeline, and then everyone's like, "What? 3 terms?" Exactly. Delaney was that good. Everyone wanted more
The,
of.
the man just all he needed to do to win was just take off his shirt and start flexing. That's all he needed to do.
He
No
comes
matter
out.
with the hair.
He comes out with Hulk Hogan's theme song. At every debate, he rips his shirt off, does the pose, you know.
They're like policies, what policies? I got these guns. I'm against gun control because who would control these guns?
You're in for a hurt, brother.
He has a little custom belt like we have, but it says
Yeah.
best Delaney alive or something.
uh I don't know if I want to be in that. I don't know if that dimension sounds cooler or not, but
It's such
probably
funnier.
it's definitely more entertaining than what we got right here.
And who knows? Maybe in that timeline they lowered their voting age to like 2, and so we have like John Delaney trying to like win over kids with a Fortnite dance. You know, like
Yeah.
who knows?
Oof, oof.
Yeah,
You never know.
Who never knows?
yeah. COVID never happens because John Delaney strangled it with his bare hands.
Come on, COVID. Come on.
He just fucking beats it. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's how we beat COVID. Who would have thought? All you need to do is just like beat it in hand-to-hand combat. That's all. That's all you needed. Who needs a vaccine or mask or lockdown? Just fight it.
They go to the Rome Coliseum. They duke it out there.
I was thinking like something more along the lines of like a Thunderdome or something like
Or a
that.
Thunderdome. That's more American. Yeah.
Yeah, he grabs the COVID from patient zero and just
He
grasps it
fucking
with his
choke
hands.
slams it into the ground.
Yeah.
As he choke slams it, it implodes. You know, like COVID defeated, Delaney undefeated.
Delaney stonks go up.
He went from like having like 2.5 supporters to like now like half the country at least.
Yeah,
He's
like every other world leader in the world sees how great Delaney is, so they try to imitate him, but fail disastrously.
They don't make memes about Putin riding a bear. They make it about John Delaney doing it instead.
Yeah,
Riding a
Putin got
bear.
so scared.
Putin's about to invade Ukraine, and Delaney is like, "Hold up there, brother. You're not going to invade Ukraine. If you invade Ukraine, you have to deal with me, the Delaniac." Putin's like, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no!"
You're like,
Backs
oh
off.
no, I cannot do this. I am gone, comrade. And then there's world peace.
This just in: President Vladimir Putin of Russia declares world peace after John Delaney declares war on him.
It's just a switch. It's just like, world peace, yes or no, on a note. You just pass it around. That's it. That's all. That's all is required, dude. I don't know if this is like a fan fiction we made, but I want to live there now.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
even
all
care
my
to.
fault. It's all my fault. I chose Ron over my other friend.
Damn, bro. All because of that. All because of that. You went for Ron. How could you?
Yeah.
What we could have had. All right, we may not have been friends or like having a podcast now, but
Another nationwide news: China declares democracy instead of communism.
uh, I won't go into the technicalities, but sure, we'll go with that. It's a democracy. Everywhere's a democracy. There's world peace everywhere.
Yeah, asteroid's about to hit the Earth. John Delaney says, "You
Punches
better."
it to the ground.
He punches it, it scatters, and then the rocks, instead of falling towards Earth, goes against gravity, goes back out the Earth.
Dude, I think
And now it
we're
circles as protection for the Earth.
what's happening? We're like single-handedly like reviving John Delaney's like campaign, even though that man has no right, no right to be in any elected office.
You know what that means?
Just from the sole fact that the man's kind of buff.
He needs to pay us. He needs to sponsor us now if he wants this. If he wants his stocks to go up, you know.
Yeah. What if through the butterfly effect, this podcast episode revives his political career? You know,
Oh, bro.
had we never talked about John Delaney, we'd have not John Delaney, but we fucked up, so we're gonna have John Delaney.
I just picked a random name out of a hat, and it's John Delaney. I just remember him being funny. I could have gone with like John Hickenlooper or something like that, but no. The only
The
notable.
meme about Delaney was because he never dropped out until like almost the very end. Like I think it was just like Bernie, Joe Biden, Warren, and then some of the other like big Democrats at the time. But then John Delaney, who like had like no support, stuck in, thinking he had a chance or something. You know?
Did he really? I don't even remember.
No, he probably
I
didn't have a chance. But remember how he was like
don't remember him like staying in that long.
when he dropped out. He was getting interviewed, and then he was just like, yeah, this is why I'm dropping out. And then the interviewer I'd be like, oh wow, that's crazy. You know, like I don't know, like he felt like he was like important enough to be like, I'm officially dropping out. You know, like he had like no support whatsoever.
People were like, who? Who are you?
He was still in for so long. Like all the big names were like in there. Everyone else who were no name, they already dropped out, and but he was still there. That's why he became the meme. For the two of us anyway. Probably not for anyone else.
The only people I remember like staying in like longer than they should have was like Warren and like Gabbard. That's it.
But the two of them were like
They were known.
they had sizable support. That's the difference, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul, your mic cut
Paul
out.
mute. Paul mute.
Fixing microphone. All right,
There you
should
go.
be fine now. Yeah, this again. I mentioned this before in like previous episodes, but like this microphone I have very finicky. Well, not the microphone itself, but the wire that connects the that powers the thing on. Because my younger sister, she has the exact same microphone, the Blue Yeti and all that.
She
But
does.
yeah, she does. She
Oh.
had it for like a couple years before I did, and her wire kind of sucked, and so she wanted to test it out between like switching her wire and my wire to see if it's like is it the entire microphone or is it just a wire? And it was just a wire, and I guess I had more success making it work. So I guess we just switched, and now this is my wire, and it's kind of doo doo. Any like slight touch to it, it just like turns off.
Same here
I
for
really, I
mine.
yeah,
Is
I
it
really
is it like
It's
one
the
of those wires?
USB B, Type B. It's a Type B where it's like giant.
Oh.
yeah,
Uh,
I really should just get like a new wire to be honest. But I'm just like
didn't you had a Blue Yeti before your current one, right?
Yeah,
Did you have the same problem
I had
with that?
no, it's this one. It's the same.
No, not this one, but the one before this one.
Well, the one I broke that one by accident, so the
Mm.
wire wasn't the problem.
Did you have issues with the wire though, despite not being the reason why you got a new one?
No, it wasn't the wire. It was because
okay.
I accidentally like hit it on my table, or it dropped on my table and it broke the
Ah,
USB. I think it got like detached from the motherboard, the little tiny motherboard that fucking powers
Alright.
this thing.
so you think you still got that wire? Is it in use right now, or
I have an extra one, I think. Let me
okay?
check first, because
I would gladly partake in that wire if you don't mind.
because
Oh,
for
is
this
it
one,
disconnectable or is it like attached to the mic itself?
it's a USB. It's so it detaches.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Okay.
like a USB, like a
Yeah.
USB charger cable.
Oh,
Mhm.
is it like double ended? Like
Yeah,
then, right?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like just one wire with the USB at the end that you
Nah, nah, nah.
No, I have the same problem with my microphone where the thing is loose.
It has to be like in a very specific
Yeah,
spot for it to work.
yeah. So I used like Velcro and tied it with the microphone stand and make it all snug so it wouldn't move. And now it's working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I what I got is just like I have like this little roundish like plastic foam
Yeah.
where I just kind of like place it in a way so that it strategically holds up the wire. It's a very jank setup, but it works like 90% of the time, unless like I actually banged the table because I'm laughing or out of
Yeah.
frustration,
It's possible that it's just like a quality issue. Like Blue Yetis are known to be like a solid mic, not a good one.
Mm.
Oh,
I mean, it's
guess
good for the price.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
often
selling point.
bundled with like a deal or something, which is why you got one. Like Dean bought something that reduced the price of it. And yeah, but yeah, it's a mic that it's recommended just because it's solid for the price you pay. For a better mic, you have to pay a little extra. Like my mic, I think it's better than the Yeti, but it's not like it's not the same like type, same tier sort of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, for more expensive ones like you see, like the ones you see on like the official podcast, those mics are like triple the price of ours.
Yeah, how much are those? Are like thousands of dollars or?
It really depends on what type of mic, but the most common one, I think it's the Sheer
Sure.
S7MB or some shit like that. 7MB, something like that. That's like the most common one in podcasts. Some podcasts use even more expensive ones, like $1,000 ones. I think once you go into fourth digit mics, those are used more for like professional voice acting
Mhm.
for various things because you need that quality. And I guess some of those are also like used for like musicians too, where they record singing or whatever else. But yeah.
Yeah, whenever I like listen to podcasts or just like YouTubers or like other like uh, uh other internet people with like very high quality mics and I just hear how they sound, I'm like, oh man, I don't need it. At the same time, man, that'd be really nice to have. Just like
It's like
having
yeah,
that sound
like
quality.
the most common podcast one is like 300, 400. So it's literally triple the price of ours. But for that jump in quality, they do it because they're making a living out of it.
They
They're
have
making
to,
stars.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for us, we're just nobodies with
we're just degenerates.
we're just
Yeah,
nincompoops, one
the
would say.
nincompoops. Yes,
Yeah, we're just the
exactly.
nincompoops.
We're just
Yeah,
some random guys on the internet just like talking
like
amongst ourselves.
in
But
the other in some other timeline, that's not the timeline with John Delaney. We pop off with this podcast, and we would probably upgrade it at some point. But
the third dimension and all that.
yeah, at some other timeline, we pop off, get following, and then we would upgrade probably to in person or something, or better mics or something. But yeah, for where we are now, yeah, these would do just fine because we're not expecting to make income out of this or anything.
Yeah,
Mm,
this is just us talking to the ghost
Yeah,
and the listeners.
yeah.
mm-hmm. Well, one day when we have money, maybe we could do something like that.
Yeah,
Just get pretty neato microphones and all that. But until then, hey, we
Yeah,
got what we got. All
yeah.
right.
We're not gonna be musicians or voice actors or professional podcasters
I
anytime
don't know.
soon.
I don't know, Jim. You're kind of like the closest one out of all of us to like getting that being a voice actor.
yeah.
Probably not a really good
Uh,
one, but you're decent at least.
I mean, I have like almost no training, so I'd say I'm not bad.
Doesn't need
uh,
training. Just go in there, and you kill the job.
You don't need training. You already got talent.
Yeah, you got the talent.
Hmm.
I mean, I already know like the steps. It's expensive. The biggest barrier to entry of being a voice actor is probably location. Like if you during the pandemic, from what I know, is you're able to record from home from anywhere in the country. Like
Hmm.
if you live where I am, you're able to just record it and then send your file or record it via Zoom or Discord or whatever program they use. I don't know. And then they get that file and then use it for whatever it is they need your voice for commercial, anime, video games, cartoons, whatever. Um,
Hmm.
but generally it's about location. Like I know for a lot of it, for New York, you have access to like a lot of different things. Like you're able to do more commercials or cartoons because a lot of it's done in New York. I think with anime and video games, or at least certain types of video games, LA is where you need to live because you need to go in studio to do it.
Yeah,
And
Mm.
yeah, because they prefer you be in studio for even there's no real good reason for it, which is why there's like a lot of things going on with voice acting industry right now. Like right now, you guys are familiar with how Crunchyroll was bought by Funimation, which is owned by
Yeah.
Sony.
Yeah.
So what happened with that was that before Crunchyroll had their own pool of voice actors who would do voices for them, um, and they were able to do it at home because of COVID, special conditions. But Funimation, their headquarters is in Texas, and the difference is that the Texas voice actors are not unionized, whereas the LA ones are unionized. So a
Ah.
lot of what's happening is that the union actors getting screwed because their roles are being replaced with the Texas actors. And the Texas actors are getting paid considerably less for what they're doing.
Mm.
And the thing about the Texas actors is that they have to go in studio in Texas to do it. And with the LA actors, there LA studios that they can use to send it over to Texas or to Crunchyroll, which is still in LA. However, because of the whole unionization thing going on, they're removing remote voice acting recording
yeah,
as an option. So they have to come in studio, which means that if you're not someone who lives in LA or Texas or New York, and let's say you're someone like me who lives here or someone who lives in
Yeah.
Ohio, you're pretty fucked. You have no more income from voice acting anymore. So that's one of the biggest barriers of entry is that you have to like move over to LA or Texas or one of the big cities that does it.
Hmm.
Another one is like you need to have like a portfolio, which means that you need to have like you know basically what it means. Like you need to have clips of your voice and it's professionally done and set up on your own website, and that costs a few $1,000s to set up as well as finding an agent that will represent you, that you will have a contract with, so you can pay them a certain amount so they can help you get roles and stuff. That it's a big price entry that a lot of people can't do, like myself. I
I
can't
see.
shell out money to move to LA or have that whole thing set up. So Yeah, unless like there's certain exceptions, like for example, I know like Lily Pichu, Sakuno, Valkyrie. They had like an anime role recently. I think Lily Pichu's more
Oh,
of
that's
a
cool.
voice actor than the other two. But what helps them is that they have more of an income from like YouTube or streaming that they can afford to do it, or and also they also have the notoriety, the fame and the fame to be able to open those doors. Whereas someone who who's coming from nothing has a tougher time. Uh,
Yeah, I've noticed a lot
doing
of
that.
like voice actors, especially over the years, has definitely delved more into like Twitch or like YouTube as like other forms of income. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, yeah,
even like the well-known ones like Matt Mercer and all that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
They're able to do that. And
mhm.
also
Also,
anime doesn't anime. I know this with anime actors, like the dub actors, they don't get paid very much. It's more like a passion project thing.
Mm,
Whereas if you do video games, you get paid a lot more. Like if you're Matt Mercer, voicing characters in video games all the time. Not that that's his main income anymore. I know he has a his Twitch channel, which is making like millions. If you're someone, uh, you know, if you're doing video games, you make more than you are if you're just voicing like cartoons. I mean, it depends on the cartoon. And anime doesn't pay very much. So yeah, a lot of problems with that. And the
mm,
whole Texas Crunchyroll Funimation thing kind of fucks things up too. Thanks America.
yeah. I mean, it's only one answer to that. Hopefully, the guys in Texas also unionize as well, so
Uh
therefore there's no
yeah, that's hoping that's the case, but I don't think a lot of
hoping
people
that's the
want to
case.
or able to. That's the thing.
Mm, yeah, a little difficult. But
Yeah.
hey, things are more unions are forming these days, so hopefully there's more of a snowball's
I mean,
effect.
the LA
And with that,
actors, from what I hear, they're trying to get everyone unionized, but it's tough because if you're unionized, sometimes you don't get roles, and that's what pays the bills, you know. So
yeah,
if you're
ultimately,
not
yeah.
unionized, at least you're getting paid for what you're doing instead of like getting blocked out from
And even if it
non-unionized
is that
units.
you're getting like paid less, yeah.
Even if you're getting paid less, yeah, it's fucked. Yeah, vote Bernie, everybody.
If he decides to run again in 2024, but I don't know. That's
vote for Kanye.
oh
That
yeah,
might actually happen.
I totally forgot that was a thing. I
Yeah.
forgot that was a meme that literally came true for like 5 minutes before he dropped out in like 2020.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and for all those you guys who are told of like, I know it's happened with Kenny because Kenny just told me a lot of stories about how unions in his like in his job are kind of bad, but you just kind of had to decide for yourself because um not I'm not saying that every union's good. Like there's definitely a lot of bad unions out there that don't do a good job in getting you what you need as a worker,
Yeah, yeah.
but usually if it's someone that's like a supervisor, even if you think they're your friend, if they're telling you stories like, hey, this other place that does what we do here, if you're working at a Target, he doesn't work at Target, but as an example, if this Target is not unionized, that one is. I hear in that Target, that that if you are a supervisor in that Target and a worker complains about you, that the supervisor gets fired. Like even if you think that the supervisor you're talking to is your friend, they could be repeating what they're told to tell you, or they could it sounds like a conspiracy, but
Yeah.
um, it's just that the supervisor is incentivized to tell you what they're supposed to tell you because they're
Hmm.
getting paid to do their job, and if they fall out of line, they might not have their job anymore. So, um, not that it happens in every workplace. Sometimes the supervisor generally just does not like unions, but just gotta be a little more wary with what the incentives are for you to not unionize. And to know what unionization does, you just got to understand that unions, the purpose, not that it does it all the time, is that it's the purpose. The purpose of a union is that you can um, have what's called collective bargaining, so
Yeah, exactly.
you and your fellow workers in that workplace are able to band together and demand higher wages what you do because they need you to do what you're doing so they can get money out of it.
Hmm.
And and if you refuse to work at a certain um, wage, then they can't do what they do without you. So they're forced to pay you more and give you stuff like healthcare, uh, pay time off, or amongst a bunch of different things. So
Yeah, it's
you're
much
able
more
to,
likely for those changes to happen if you do it as a group as opposed to being
yeah,
an
yeah,
individual. Because you could demand it as an individual. Sure, you might get. There's a chance you do get something out of it, but there's also a chance that you just get fired and you just get replaced by someone else who's
yeah.
willing
Like
to
for
work for
example,
like
like
lower
you might
wages.
be thinking, like, oh, I get paid. You know, I'm okay with getting paid what I get paid. But imagine this, like, if you're all of a sudden getting paid $5 to do what you do, you know, you would think that that's crazy. Like $5 for what you're doing is insane because you need to pay the bills and you know you need to make enough money to pay for that. But without a union, you know, you might have to just deal with getting paid $5 an hour because it's just what they're paying you. You can't really do anything about it. With a union, you're able to argue like, hey, $5 isn't enough, and we're refusing to work unless you pay us $8 or $15 or $20. And you know, obviously you can't be like, I demand $1,000 an hour for what I'm doing. That's not, you know, they're not able to do that. But within reason, at a
Yeah,
certain
within
price point,
reason.
you're able to argue for like, hey, I should be getting paid this because, you know, these numbers say that this is what I should be making. You know, those numbers including like productivity or how much revenue you're generating to compare to how much your boss is getting. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and most people are like most workers like are really reasonable. They just want like a fair shake for their
Yeah.
labor.
Yeah. So yeah, generally unionization is good, and the more places that unionize, the better it is for you because if only 1 out of 10 targets are unionized, then well, the one unionized target doesn't get as much because the other 9 are still not unionized. But if at least 8 of you guys are unionized, then you guys all benefit from it. You guys will all get paid more. You guys will get more benefits from that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, very
and
very good, very good TED talk, Jim.
yeah, yeah. Not this is not just a political thing because it affects everybody. Everyone works. You know,
Mm-hmm.
chances are none of us or any of you guys or anyone that you guys know are you're not gonna own your own business at some point. Like just yeah, just gotta learn uh how to make more from what you do.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Well said. All right, boys. How you feeling?
We are an hour and 7 in.
All
yeah,
right. Y'all ready to wrap this up?
Yep.
yeah. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
If you guys enjoyed today's podcast, you can check us out on YouTube at the Nincompoops. The link is in the description below. We have episodes 71 through 77 already up, with this episode 78 going up
Hell
soon.
yeah.
We're going to reach 100 within some point in our lifetime, maybe. Who knows? But yeah. If you want to watch us live, you can watch us live on certain Fridays. Okay. Of the year. I don't know. It's just when we feel like it, or if we're not doing anything else. Like if
Yeah.
we're hanging out, we're not going to be doing the podcast while we hang out. Not that we can't, but because we don't want to. And also, uh, I don't know. It kind of kills the vibe of talking offline when you have to do it online. You know?
You know, it adds to like the casualness of the podcast because like it's like it's the nincompoops. We're not like super professional, and
What are you
we don't
explaining?
know it. We don't have to like keep like a super consistent schedule.
Yeah.
The casualness comes from the fact like, oh, what a nice surprise on a Friday or
If there's anything
whenever we
you
do.
got for me this episode is that I like to keep it casual in school, at work, or in the podcast. I don't like being this bun out professional person because that's just not how I like things, and that's just not who I am.
Yeah,
Yep.
instead of like casual Fridays, it's casual every day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine how different our vibe would be if we were professional about this? Like,
Yeah.
oh, tell us about the week you spent this week.
Dude, we'd have like negative 20 viewers or something.
Someone's taking our ghost viewers.
And for those of you who are disappointed that we didn't do a not safe for work topic today, don't worry. There's like 77 episodes that contains that and plenty more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, catch us in the links below. Live not every Friday, but certain Fridays at 6:30 PT. When we do it, you just gotta have your Twitch alerts on or whatever the fuck,
You gotta have the thing on, the bell.
Yeah. Or
Subscribe and put the bell on.
I don't think Twitch has a bell, or maybe it does. I don't know. But yeah.
I think they have a notification thing.
Yeah, and if you get us 69 more subs, we'll have our own custom URL on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen anytime soon, but you can hope. And as always, comment
69?
We need 69 more subs. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, that's a good number right there.
Oh, it used to be 68 before, but you know what? We'll take it.
Oh shit!
Oh no,
One
We
person
lost one.
unsubscribed. Yeah, we lost one.
Shit.
But at least we're stable. We're not losing anymore.
we're not gaining, we're not losing. We're
Yeah,
very stable.
yeah. And always comment, you bitches. Joram commented last week, in our last episode. So
What did he say?
he said, "I didn't expect this to turn not safe for work. I enjoyed it though, or something."
It's
Like,
always not safe for work.
It's all yeah. If you're here and you're like, damn, they're not safe for work again, then you need to catch up. Okay, it's gonna happen all the time.
Mm-hmm. Just maybe not this one for some reason, but most of the
Yeah.
time, almost
Funny
all
enough,
the time.
we talk about not being professional, but this is the one we do where we don't do not safe for work.
I know, right?
Well, to
Yeah.
be fair, if you really want it to be not safe for work, there's some good hentais out there right now.
We did have, and speaking of which, we had a hentai tier list. If you guys haven't watched it, go check it out.
Oh yeah, that is
Very
also true.
controversial.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes, it was. I had very basic opinions, not controversial, popular. One might say.
Uh huh. Sure, sure.
Yeah. Other than that, hope you guys had a wonderful day. Peace.
Later.
Penis butt.